helping you with Acorn and RISCOS computing.
Okay, first of all, a couple of brief apologies. First of all, I've been poorly for just over 3 weeks, so preparing for tonight has been a bit last-minute job. And apologies if I suddenly start coughing a lot after I take drinks. I'm still getting a side effect from, I don't know whether it's flu or COVID, but it's had me down for over 3 weeks. So if it was COVID, that's the first time I've had COVID. Anyway, so basically, I'm going to start off with a slideshow, and then hopefully I'll be able to, using a 4TE2 show, installing Messenger Pro and NetFetch, Hermes, etc., and going through some of the tips and hints and things you can do that aren't always obvious, and possibly things that might perhaps could do with some updating, if you like, or improving or whatever, as a side comment. But to that, let me try and share my screen. What am I looking tonight at? I'm looking at Messenger Pro and NetFetch, Hermes, and Hermes. Oops, sorry. We're looking at saying Messenger Pro has potentially up to 5 options, setup options, depending on how you want to use it. It's like screenshot from the options when you first install it. You can change it later on. The principal for one is a standalone, which is offline database, which is using it offline basically. There's a network server, which is actually what I tend to use 99% of the time nowadays. The network server can also be used as a standalone on your main machine. It's just like your main machine, basically. It's just like the client, except it's also a server to other machines on your network. There is external IMAP and also an older legacy one. I've never really got involved with them. Some people have tried it, trying to get into Google, and I'll mention that a bit later on briefly. And the old news-based system. I'll be primarily looking at the first two, which are, I should say, really, the first two on my list, not the screenshot. Standalone, offline, and the network server, because they're virtually same. That's on Messenger Pro side. On the NetFetch side, NetFetch is a front end to various applications. Basically, it keeps it all together for you. Hermes is the main email transport program. It provides you'll be able to connect to SMTP, POP3, and IMAP. So it helps controlling what you're sending and receiving. There's also NewsHound in there, which is Newsnet. I'll look at that briefly again. Kind of one of the changes that's been in the latest version. FTP, it uses FTPC. And there's also a launcher for a selection of web browsers. You can add your own on. I'll show you that as well. You can also do ping, traceroute, and telnet options within NetFetch, excuse me. There's also spam filtering and whitelisting facilities with Hermes and NetFetch. You can access it through either way. That's broadly the thing. I should point out you can, if you have your own copy of FTPC, outside that you can actually point NetFetch to your version. It's basically the same version, it's just that you can point it to your own one you customize, you might customize. Hermes can also be used without NetFetch if you really want. Not always the most popular idea with Android, but because it refers it as a user package. But anyway, I tend to use it myself, but I have the icon showing on the icon bar, so I can see both. In fact, I have Newshound on the icon bar as well, so I have a lot of flexibility. Hermes is where you configure your settings for connecting to your ISP hosting company mail service using the SMTP, POP3 or IMAP. You can also add a whitelist, plus our spam filtering pre-configured, but you can add your own addition to it. You can also look at the error and mail logs as well, as I've been doing today because I've had a slight problem. Okay, so let's try and look at the basics. I'm going to change over to the 4TE2 now for this. Hopefully it works. I'll stop the share on this. And I'll now switch to a different share. Hopefully I'll get the right one. Get this one hopefully. I'll reduce the screen size to hopefully make it a bit more easily viewable. The downloads, both NetFetch and Messenger Pro are from our comp. You can get them via store, Bling Store. And the current version is Messenger Pro 903B, which has all the files that you need to a Messenger Pro. The version for NetFetch is 600B, which again has various things, and we'll look at setting them up from scratch, but if they've never been set up on this machine before, I'll get rid of store. So let's start with Messenger Pro. Hopefully it does it the right way. A little bit slow on this machine because I'm doing it. There we are. The first thing it asks is, where do we want to set up NewsDir? Now, NewsDir is the database that holds all your emails. Now, the default is to put it inside boot resources. Bear in mind that NewsDir can get quite big and have quite a lot of emails in it, especially nowadays. I tend to not put it in there anymore. In fact, I suggest you don't, if possible, because if you're backing it up the machine, you're backing up lots of things in the boot sequence you don't really need to do. I tend to put it on the root of the, oops, it's slow dragging this thing around. So I tend to put it, not that one, I tend to put it there. So you just drag it to where you want it, and it says it puts it there. There is help files on most pages, and it's now installed NewsDir there. Because I put it there, I would suggest once we finish installing all Messenger Pro, we add it so that it is seen at startup in the boot sequence. That's to make sure it's registered, otherwise Messenger Pro can get a bit confused where it is. Now here we are, it's offering me what do I want to install, offline database thing. I'll go for the server version. Doesn't really make much difference which one I do, because they're pretty much, the first three are pretty much similar. I'll do the server version because that allows me to show something else later on. I'll explain the differences later. Clicking on install. It now, I should point out, let's just cancel that for a minute. If I now click on that again, it detected the fact that I want to try and log in as thing. Now I'm going to click on that, and it doesn't know which server, so I could change it to that one, and you see the installation screen is different. I'll go back to the network server one. I want to do it that way. You see it's slightly different screen. It has already picked up some of the information. So I'm putting the email address in, which I'm using two email address is specially set up for this talk. And the username is basically whatever username you want to use in your database. You could have it Chris, Peter, Ruth, Richard, Doug, any name you want basically under the sun. So I put in Chris for simplicity. By default, it assumes I'm using Hermes to transfer the mail and Newhouse for thing. Now there's none and then Hermes, and also because that's normally the thing it's a Newhouse anyway. Click on install. Able to start transport Newhouse. Transport command could not find Newhouse config file. Oh dear. That's interesting. No, it doesn't. There's no groups to index anyway, so it should just go away and do it. Okay. It couldn't find Newhouse, so it didn't fully install that, but which I'm not surprised. Now you can put a password in, or you can leave it blank. You can also set it so that it automatically use the settings when you start Messenger. So if I started it, it would automatically log in. I'll just do it this way for the time being. And there we are. We got our first bit is we have an email box. It's empty. There's nothing in it yet. We've got no folders, nothing in there at the moment. And the various icons. Create a mail. But we can't send it anywhere yet because we haven't set up the sending facilities yet. There is an address book, which you can use for names or addresses. So if I put a new one in, I don't know, let's have a look. What can we do? Oh, we'll call it, oh, I don't know, Arcomp. No folders yet, so I'll create one. Address, that the do that one. What's it? Alias, whatever you want to go, just an alias shortened version you can put on. I'll come to distribution list and that later on. I don't use the PGP encrypting thing, public private key. I've never felt a need. You may notice you can have a personal address book or a public address book. Personal one is only for that user, public one for any user that you set up. You can have more than one user. I'll put it as a public one. And there we are, create a folder called supplier and Arcomp. Now, going back to that, I can also show you the addresses. Whoops, I misspelled it. There we are, click on that again, I missed the W. Oh, the other thing you can do within this is you can actually set a color for it. So I can have all messages coming up in red. So it shows any messages from that address that I receive will automatically appear in red in the mail boxes. new email thing. I can change some of the settings for this in a minute. Let's see if we can get some of this out of the way. I can create new mailboxes. I can personal or archive, or we don't want archive yet. One personal one, I don't know. Let's set one up called demo talk. And create a thing. At the moment you can't see it because there's nothing in it. If I click on that, it by default will now show you, because they're all empty, it didn't show you anything. Incoming mail for incoming mail, sent mail for stuff you send out. You don't have to save it in there. You can save it in a different location if you want. And sent news for news groups, stuff you've sent out to news group. And this one I've just created, demo talk. You don't have to make it. If you don't want to make it personal, you can have another one called demo talk. That's not thing. I'll call it demo talk 2. And you'll see then it creates another one without the little padlock on it. If you can create it with a padlock on, it means it can be shared across your network with the network server. Another machine can see it. Don't have to think it can't. It effectively is invisible. There is a search facility, which we'll go through a bit later, hopefully. You also have facilities. Now, there won't be much in here at the moment because there isn't anything. Here, there's no news group main list set up yet, and you can only see the folders. And it says you automatically subscribe them already. You can unsubscribe them by highlighting one and go on to subscribe, and that removes it. Will remove it from being shown on your account. They are disappeared. Still there, but you, that user, can't see it. It might only be for another user on the using the account. This button will show you the outgoing mail queue. Any emails you've sent waiting to go will show here, including things to news groups will show there. And we'll see that in action in a little bit. That's the waste bin, which gets emptied every night at midnight, after midnight. You can empty it manually if you want to, no problem with that. This will attempt, it says on the thing there, will attempt to transfer mail and news. And you can also hold Shift key to see some of the mail on the server if you have it that set up. You can change the user, open login window. So if I wanted another user, I've only got the one. We'll come back to that in a minute. And obviously the address book. Present there's nothing in there. Now, just to think, demo talk, for instance, menu over it, you can now display just all groups, unread messages, etc. You can save the settings, you can save the position. But if you want just do things on the group itself, general display, you can edit the choices and even rename it if you want to, but edit choices. This allows you can actually copy. If you've got something that's similar, you can create a copy of it to save you having to do all the settings manually again. The display, obviously you can change the sort order, the versing, sort my article number, all the options you've got there. You can check the send, so you can actually specify who it should be from. So if you've got multiple email addresses, you can say an email replying to people who had the email sent into that mailbox can have a specific reply from a particular person email. I'll show you a bit of that in a bit. You can find a specific location if you want to, overriding the normal save, and of course you add your own signature. Present there is none there in there at the moment. We'll show that in a minute. In general, again, there's archive groups. If you want to have an archive it, say you're no longer using it, but you want to keep the records, you can archive the group and that will put into the archive. You can notify new arrivals, so it'll either ping at you or generate pop-ups because you can chime for new arrival. I tend to have chime and notify new arrival ticked, and subject threading, which on some of them I'll come to global message state in a bit, which can be used across the network. You can have a different color for the group as well, and you can save the settings now. You also see the display option is just show all just on red messages, all the messages, and on no specific thing. I tend to put on red messages, but you can do different ones to your choice. Now that's very basic. We haven't really looked at anything else in there. From the main icon, we need to look at choices. By the way, main groups, if I close that down, you can access the main group by just clicking on the icon, left clicking on the icon, I should say, and it will open that up. Now, there's nothing there because there's no groups at the moment. We can also look at specifically archive group. It duplicates that option there, which is open thing. There are utilities, option to fetch mail, expire mail, show server status, which server log, queues, no arrival, history, and there is a default to set up the Messenger Pro mail list, which we'll come to in a bit. Let's look at choices. Now, because it's the server edition, there's one or two extra options. The server choices is the main change. But let's start at the beginning. Site details. Well, it's already remembered some of the stuff from when I set it up. It picked up the host name. It doesn't need to do it that way nowadays. That's more like the old daemon way of doing it. Yeah. I can take that out and leave it at that. Hermes and new house setup. Now we'll set up that in a minute. We haven't got Hermes set up yet. We haven't set up new down. Yeah. Mail gateway, you don't need to worry about post news to gateway. That's if you want to really send your news to mail to news gateway. Most people don't need to use that. Handle local mail internally is a way of, if you've got, say, the family on the network, on a machine, another machine, you can send a message by just putting, say, the name Bob or Joe or whatever their name is, and it will send it to them internally without sending it out to the internet. I've never had to use it because there were only two of us here at one time anyway, so I'll set that because I've done it. Yeah, so I know that. So back there again. So that's at the moment. We haven't set up the new sound yet. User management. I've just got one user there at the moment, but if I could add another user on, I could add it on, I don't know, Red. And again, the email address will be red at WROCC, red. If you want to put your organisation, if you've got an organisation, you can put an organisation in. And you want to set a specific password, you can do that. Keep copies of mail sent, keep news sent, use wastebasket. You can use an alternative reply to address if for some reason you don't want email coming back to that Fred address. You'd have it coming back to a different one. You can also forward email, so all email that comes to that address gets sent on to another address automatically. Your alternative sender address can be useful on certain mailing lists because some of them validate against the sender's name, the real person sending the email, rather than the forum or mailing list name. But you can do that from within the email anyway. The access control. Now you see Fred is not a user administrator and is allowed all those privileges now. I'm going to set him just as an ordinary user. I'll go back to myself. I'll edit that. From access control, I'm the system administrator, so I have total control. Change that. I won't changing that. You can also forward any undelivered mail to Chris. You could change that, so none or anything else, but it all comes saying it's just a catch-all thing. I've never changed it from that. Group management. Right. These are all the groups. Demo to talk to is the one I created. The queue is the mail queue, which is the same as that. And incoming mail and Chris Door, the one I created. Outgoing mail, outgoing using Mace Basket. You now may have noticed that it now created folders for Fred, but I can't see them in my main box. They're Fred's. But supposing I want access to Fred's thing, well, I can click on that, which is the add group subscription, and you can see I've got Freddy incoming mail there. I can highlight that, click on that, close that, and now I've got access to Fred's emails as well. I don't want to do that very often, but no, there's folders here. You can access the various folders on Fred's folders and add them to mine. We haven't got any news groups yet or mailing lists, so we'll come back to that in a bit. Just to go over some of the things you may have noticed here, the expiry for most of these or the normal mailboxes are never. But you can, but for the waste basket, it's 1 day. Basically, expires it overnight. Now, I created demo talk, but it's currently by default set to never. You can either double click on it or click on edit. Here, bring up the group settings. Do not expire this group. Well, I might actually want to just expire it. You can either use custom settings or by default it'll do it after 14 days. So we'll leave it at 14 days. You can input emails from elsewhere via this thing by dropping on it, but I'll see if I can try and show that later on. You can delete the group. You can expire it. So you can, for some reason, you've changed the date, and you can make it expire. Thing. You may not see it automatically expires all messages by 14 days. That does not affect any that say never. Repair or repair the mailbox. Tidy is one you do need to use occasionally. If you delete emails out your incoming box because you don't need them anymore, or they're junk or spam or whatever, they're still in the database. They've got a marker each side of the email concern to say they're deleted record. If you click on tidy, go through the database and physically release that space and tidy up the mailbox. And the group management, obviously, you see that there. That there. Filtering rules, you can filter incoming emails. So they come in and you filter them into the mailbox. So I don't know, you might have one for your supermarket and you want all your emails that are coming in, cluttering up your inbox. Say anything from this address, automatically feed it into a specific mailbox folder. What they call them on here. Give me a second. Now, mailing list we'll come back to in a minute. There's a little bit of special setting up for them. Display settings. Well, you have a choice. You can either use the internal editor for sending an email on that, or you can use an external one. The internal one is more than sufficient. And you can choose different fonts. Bitmap, we call outline fonts. Yeah. You can change it, and you can change the different fonts. Target rule. And you can change it. You change message colors and colorings and display width. I tend to change that to 80. You can by default display the headers as they come in. You don't normally need to do that, but you can do if you want to. Underline URLs and show all relevant fields. Save that because I've changed it. Now, message editing, you can use an external editor, which could be Edit, Strong Ed, whatever you want to use. I tend to use the internal one because it's simpler and less hassle. You can do some UTF-8 editing. I've turned that off lately because I've found one or two minor issues with that. You know, user-defined header if you want to. Most people won't need to do that. You can enable quoting and quote signature if you really want to. Remove subject from date replying. Wow, that's a personal choice. The append signature, disable signature thing. Now, at present, I've got no signature set up, so I'll click on that and default it's remembered my username, so I could have that like that. And I'll just call it signature so it knows what it is now. But you haven't actually created it, actually. Probably got more. I haven't got more than one. And I'll then set it. Something I haven't really shown here. Back in the zip file, there are a number of extra folders. You are recommended to install, make sure you've got the current version of the Acorn SSL module. And you do this by the normal installing. Then you can pick a dropping system on it and boot on it. It should already have it on here. They also suggested some resources, eSpeak, so it can use with the speech settings, the manual, provide the manual and the word for checking, spell checking. Those will all end up in, I'll show you where they are. It turns up, they're already installed. I cheated a little. they're already inside boot resources because the system resources. All you do would drag them into the place, the README file text. There's the Unicode thing, which install thing, and there's a list of suggested fonts. I'm already using one of them. I have all three of them installed, but there's links to how to get to them, and they're available through Link Store, I believe, as well. For speech settings, yeah, I've never bothered using speech settings, but you can use it. You can use a different voice. You can try voices, all the different voices, Dutch, Italian, all sorts of things. Big addresses, signatures, arrival. Again, it's a personal choice that where you do it. You can do scoring rules as well. So if for some reason certain emails need to be a higher priority than others, you can do this. The only time I've used this is basically try and divert some junk to be killed. Again, you set a rule up, set the priority level, which can be 0 to 99 basically, and you can specify various groups, all of them, where you want to think, and you mark it as mark as read or score to thing and subject, and set up various criteria. I'll see if I can show you one of them in a bit later. Here, I can actually set up, already tried to set me up email account, which we'll cover properly in Netflix Hermes. It's partly detected the fact I've got a thing. The address book, which is what we showed you a bit earlier. Group subscription, again, is that, which is, remember, available through here. And I'll skip the server choices at the moment. The advanced option, you may notice it, chime for new email, notify new email. Well, I can tick that and thing. Also subscribe to groups. That's a personal choice you can do. Don't score archive group. No waste basket for news. You can do that. Request receipts by default. A lot of servers just ignore that and won't respond to it at all. Send fetch request to dial up. Not really needed nowadays. Convert HTML to text. And you can use, which I'll show you an example. I've sent some email to myself with some examples. Hopefully they'll come through. You can also use the RAM disk if you've got enough memory available on MFS to slightly speed up performance. That depends on your machine. You might want to do that on a RISC PC or an ARM-X6, something like that. You can do it on any of the machines, basically, as long as you've got a RAM disk that's big enough. I could do it here, but I'm not saying. Various other options then. Display, open main window and login. Open that up. As I said, I clicked on it and it opened up the group viewer. Next option is really only for external external. I don't want to be ticked. Use tree view and group viewer, so you can actually set up show a tree view. Auto refresh message viewers. Yes, you can do that. Allow catch up. I tend to leave that off because you might want to go back to some of the email. Auto close windows, again, expand threads. I'll come to that if we can get to it. Automatic closing, or allow all threads open without shift bar and windows. These are all personal choices you can turn on or off at your ledger almost. Deletion, I recommend just leave it on that option, just mark for deletion, mark it, and then you can tidy up. Well, and go down, it's up to you. Validation, again, you can turn some on, some turn off. Disable long lines warning, disable no subject warning for mail, double cross posting. So empty message warning, disable top posting warning. You can turn them on and off. Thing. PGP I'm not using, so I'm not using, I'll just ignore it. Mind map, leave it on the top setting. That uses the standard MIME encoding. Warnings, again, you can just turn on off various options. So you can turn on but nothing. Printer, that's no longer really necessary. We're stuff fine for a start, or 4 or 6. I don't think that's really necessary now. Let's go back and make sure to save some of the settings. Yes, it has. Good. Now, the server choice is only available when it's the server version, but you can show the server status when starting up. Pop-up status, window when active. And you can do the fetch start and startup. I tend to turn that off. I can then it might interfere if I'm doing backup, which I do every morning. So I don't want it colliding. In the network settings, you can set up IMAP, NMTP, SMTP, and these ports are the ones used for non-secure connections. I tend to use them. That now this has some right. Oh right, okay. Yeah, it's got in. I strip out most of these, but it has here the pretty much default private email language that you can use on your machines on network. Normally there will be something like in the 192.168 range. So you could change that. So you can tighten up the thing. You can actually just put addresses in here, specific IP addresses from a specific machine, and it will only work with those machines. It prevents it, because the regular address could be risky if you don't do it properly, but it's not normally a problem. You can put those settings in the thing. Those are the default port numbers, so you should be able to just leave them alone. That is the bare bones of Messenger Pro. Other things I need to show you, well, we'll set up in a minute or two. Let's move to NetFetch. Now, NetFetch, I look inside it, it has the various apps. FTPC, Hermes, it has a syslog in there as well, Banner, config file, and telnet. You don't have to worry about that if you don't want to, it's done automatically. And what we're going to do now, if I fire this up, it should ask me. There we are. You can drag a connection script to the box below or click manual. Well, most of the scripts are probably out of date nowadays for a lot of the old providers. Some may still work. I don't know. I should add again in this zip file, there's the Acorn SSL update, which needs the documents and emails. Again, there's a very basic version of Messenger supplied with NetFetch and various transports. But you don't normally have to worry about them. It's a bare bones thing. There is the full NetFetch is that run there, but you can actually, if you've already got NetFetch, you can run the upgrade, which will upgrade your existing provider. In the web, they provide a couple of web browsers, ancient ones. I'll come to that in a bit. And the README file does explain what you need to do to install it. Now, because we're not dragging it, I'll click on manual. Now, a lot of people actually have more, like me, I have about 4 different domains. So I'm not using my internet providers mail servers anymore. They're being got rid of. So I need to put some details in. Now, I'll put in one of them, doesn't matter which one I do. Let's have a look. I'll put in mail. Sending the SMTP1, which will be, it's actually the same. Obviously, you put your own, whichever your supplier is, you put there, saying that they pretty much have the details. They should supply the information for you, what your mail server is, and thingy. It might be IMAP, which case you put the IMAP in the relevant place. Mail username. Would be Chris. Let's put that in. Mail password. I haven't got password. I'm not putting a password in there. I need to log in to send email, which you do. Most of them you do now need to thing, and I'm going to put in demo WROCC for UK. That's the email address I want to use. This is slightly changed from how it used to be done, so obviously thing. It's also got detailed SSL. Interesting. All right, okay. It by default gives me an account name. I've got a local user demo at the moment. Well, I'll change that to Chris to match what's in Messenger Pro. And the default currently is set for 110. Now we'll come back to that. Mail logs. You got the transfer logs to be none, simple, basic, or detailed. If you start having problems, switch on detail. It shows all the chatter between the server and yourself. You log spam automatically if you want to. I've never bothered that. If there's a log, you'll see it there, and you can trim it. You can change that down. Security, depending on the company, you certainly need secure connection, and SSL is on 995. Well, hang on, look, how much on? That's interesting. Mailbox for fetch. That's right, possibly, yeah. And on fetching, an error mail fetching from this account. If for some reason you don't want to receive mail from that account, for some reason you can just untick that and it'll grey it out when you save the setting, and it won't automatically sing. It will remove mail from the server after fetching. You can turn that off if you're using a laptop separately, independently, going away somewhere using a laptop. You can turn that off, and the mail will still sit on the server. And when you come back, you can skip mail when you've already fetched, and use fast queue deletion. Normally, you leave that on. Oversize, you can think I tend to leave it regardless of size, but you can change the settings to decide on how much things. So there's a lot of flexibility within making your phone and Hermes and NetFetch. Advanced settings would be if you want to set up certain variables before now, one command afterwards. I've never found a need for it, but some people might do. And filtering, well, here we have the facility to set up a whitelist globally, and you list, and it tells you what to do to put people in there. So you could say, I want any email from that person or company to come in regardless. You can use a local whitelist for this specific account, and again you can edit and put in the details you want. Original mail from just book contacts, so any addresses that are in that address book will be let in regardless. You have options here. Do not block mail. This is filtering. Use spam filtering rules. Here, global default. Do nothing. Add line to header. List unmarked. List marked for deletion. Delete immediately, or the global default. And you can also set block anything that's not whitelisted. So if coming an email from somebody you don't know, or even somebody you do know and you haven't put them in the whitelist, they get blocked. I tend to set it on that, and I tend to either use that or the global default list thing. Now, I'll put it back to do not thing for this thing, and then you can stay on that. Now, yes, click on that. Now, the other thing you can do is fetch. If you have more than one thing, you can fetch your email accounts in parallel, so you don't have to one after the other, fetch them at the same time. We've only done the fetch mailbox, that one. I can add a new one on, delete it, trim logs, spam rule, and here's the spam rule. The default ones are, let's have a look at those, block all this, all the band groups, and you can then add your own one onto that. And words, all the usual stuff. All caps, bad IDs, all the options there, but you can add your own as well. Add a new one. You can set up banned words, so you can block specific domains and what have you. So you can set your own filtering up. You list and mark it for deletion. Do nothing. Again, you've got the choices. So there's a lot of flexibility. So it's similar in some ways to anti-spam, but you have a lot more flexibility. You can build your own list up and expand it, modify it to your heart's content, basically. I think I've added a few more recently to a new one because I've tried to block some of the spam junk email addresses that have started to come in, trying to get around a lot of this stuff. There seems to be lots of it going on at the moment, probably because of certain wars on. And that covers that. Now, outgoing mail server, we've just got some mailboxes to fetch, but outgoing mail server, it set me up a one thing, and it set me up a default one called that. I can change the name of that if I want to. and it's automatically filled in the thing. It's automatically given me port 25. Now I need to log into this account, so I'm going to change this to WROCC. Well, mail logs, again, simple, basic and detailed. Most of the time you can have simple or basic. Again, it's the same thing, view log, anything. Security checking, the more important thing. Turn on that, SSL 465. Some want 587. One of my suppliers, it wants 587 instead of the standard 465. Leave that alone unless you know what you're doing. And addresses. Now, addresses is quite a useful thing here. If you've got multiple email addresses, multiple domains, you can specify that all email for in this case, the WROCC address. So I'm going to put in WROCC. Email sent from address that contains any of the string specified will always be allowed to use this server. Sent always using this server. And you can actually have more. Actually, on the club one, I've actually got Wakefield Show or UK, which we obviously don't need anymore now. But because I'm not going to connect to my internet provider's mail server, I want to bypass that. So I want to, in this case, I want to make sure I override the default setting, because I'm going to add another mailbox. I've got demo one. I want to add a new one. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it with Chris again, but this one is going to be pop 3. Oops. Again, I need to put in an address. I'll need the mail logs, simple. Security thing, SSL. Sometimes you need to use authenticated login. Not all providers want that. Some do, some don't. They usually tell you. Don't do much harm to have it ticked actually, but saying fetching again. Those two all you really need. Overside, the same as the previous advanced and filtering. I'll leave thing. Now I'm doing that. I've now got 2. And I can fetch out in parallel or one after the other. Let's do it one after the other for a starter. Outgoing thing, I'll need to create another one. Or the other one, which would be SMTP. SMTP. I'll change the port. I need to log in. The password, by the way, is the password you need to log into your actual mail account. Mail logs again, let it simple for the time being. Security, secure connection again. 465 in my case. And addresses again, I can add on here. No. Okay. By doing that, an email going to an address that's no one here, co.uk, will go to that server, outgoing mail server, and the other one will go to the WROCC mail server thing. I'll tick that. Right. I now have 2 accounts. The options within Netflix, well, let's bring up, if I right-click the, left-click the icon, it brings up a default. And then you can put it there and save it in places thing. It also has various layout, vertical, no text horizontal. So there we are. That thing. I tend to do it that way, but you can have it whatever way you want. The choices, layout, you can have it vertical, squared, whichever way you prefer. Oops. Now, I'll leave it at that for a minute. The various icons do various options. That's to get your email, that's for news hound. That's for that's the web browser, that's the various tasks, and one FTP, but one of them is FTP. Let's put the name back beside them so you can see the options. There we go. So web browser, read email. So that would open up Messenger Pro if you didn't have it already open. Transfer mail, transfer news, file listen, and other programs. Again, you have some of these options available, and you can actually edit more text. Let's look at the choices. Oops. The choices option, and this is the thing. Got the mailboxes, which we had a look at earlier, created there. There are tasks. Now, tasks can be used, you can create, add your own program to start up things. So I can start, add it, what some other, I've not selected a task, so I add new, wrong one. Give it a name, I can start a program. When Netflix starts, so it automatically launch another program for me. I used to do that for something, but I've stopped doing it now. Programs, well, here, list all the programs that you can run from thing. Probably something that needs adding now onto this one is the, it's got the old Fresco, Oregon, Ghana, most of those are gone now. It's probably the Irish one that wants to be added. Then it would launch Irish from the icon if you wanted to. You can see here it's set up to work with Messenger Pro or Pluto. Does it in the specific order that's there. Hermes is your only choice there, and Newshound and FTP. But if I say you've got another FTP elsewhere, you can just change that to point to wherever it is. I'm bobbling Irish on there yet. Settings, your general settings. Left click open to the panel, right click will fetch your mail and thing. you have the icon on the left or right side of the bar. You can active boxes. So you can have show all boxes or fade inactive boxes. So you might have some that you're not using and you're going to get email from once a blue moon or something, and do that. Most people just have the active boxes. Fetch, send email when new sound loads, transfer thing. I tend not to do that simply because I have a backup first thing in the morning. I don't want it to collide when emails coming in at the same time, backing up the emails. An interesting effect otherwise. You can turn on mail, collect over mail every 15 minutes, or don't send mail messages during a transfer. Transfer news every so often, automatically send email when queued. You might set that to, I don't know, 2 minutes, in other words there. Open internet panel, that would open up this one. I haven't done the news bit yet, we haven't set it up. Now on the account setting, I will show a netspec in a minute, but this is part of the new work that's been done in version 6. Although I put that in, I'm actually going to bypass it. It actually sees there I've got 2 there, and I'm going to override the setting because it wants to go to 2 servers. I need to log in to send emails, that's true, and I can put in the details for that. But I'll do that. On the safe side at WROCC. Okay. Now the new bit here is the new server. A lot of new servers are being killed off. I use Internal September, which is the one actually offered by default here. And it sets you up. It tells you how to set up and get a password. You do have to register, but it's free. And they nowadays send you back a password. They didn't do when I first set up with it. Big detail, and I'll set it up. Now I'm curious to do something about that. Now, some people prefer to be able to view Hermes so Hermes is on the icon bar all the time. You can do that, and you can do it with the news hound as well, but you have to change something in a config file. Okay, well, we set it up thing. Let's see if we can actually get it to go and fetch some email from the servers. I'm clicking on, oops, there we are, it's showing it trying to connect, and it hit a, that's interesting, it hit a certificate error. Oh, interesting. They always accepted for some reason. I haven't seen that. It's the first time I've seen that. New one. And it's a fail because it's to do with the blooming certificate error. That's interesting. And it's connecting to all the emails. and all those emails have just come in. Now we'll look at that in a minute, authentication fail, but you can see now 7 messages have appeared that have just been downloaded into incoming email, and now they are all coming. Some addresses, some been sent to me thing. Now I don't want the inbox because that's the only thing that is there. Click on that. Now that's the email that come in based on my configuration. You can look at some of the emails. You can look at 2 different versions of them: the texty version or the HTML version. And you've still got the options here to open up emails, reply. I'll show you how to reply in a minute. If you click on that, to open up the web browser and show you the HTML version of that email. So you can see one of the email, and that's coming in Irish. And it comes from WROCC. WROCC, and I can see the header. I can reply to it. And for header information, suppose you want to change that, I can BCC it to somebody, so reply it to a different address. Somebody they can reply to a different address. It's from, I can change to the alternative email address. Change. I've only got the one in there at the moment because I haven't set it up. And have a different sender, and I'll show you about having different users in a second. You can defer it. You can actually send it. In fact, let's send it. It's going to go from 1 to 1, so it should go thing. Large and quoted text, confirm wish to proceed. Yes, it's one of my things I'm not saying. So that now should be in my outbox. Where is it? Lost it. You see allow appeared there to show I've got mail there. And you can see I've sent one email and it's in the box waiting to go out. And it will automatically go out in a bit. There is an option here to do transfer mail and email without using Hermes and fetch. Use it if you wish. You notice that changed. You can actually say it in, and you can actually do things with the message. You can save it out, save the message out. You can print it, copy it elsewhere, move it to a different folder, mark it for attention. You can lock it. If I lock that, you'll see it. The icon is now changed, and the icon to padlock got a padlock on it now. And I sent it. You see it sent it there. I must say I've unread it, and it changes the icon again, but it's still showing the padlock. So you can see emails are coming in. Thanks. So coming in, that just a plain text message comes in at the date, time, etc. Oh, chat's coming in here. Yes. Yeah, I'll need to check. Okay, thanks for all the messages. Right. And you can see once it's read, it changes. But I can make those invisible if I want to. There, just by rotating, it makes it. Whoops. Yeah. So there's all the things, so you can see all various things. Somebody sent me a poem. Oh, where we are. And come out from Android, to come from an Android application. And if you look at it, that's how it actually comes out in Bluemail. Always lots of extra spaces in. When it's tidied up, it looks a lot nicer. But of course, an email. There we are. It handles quite reasonably. Don't think I've got one with PDFs. Oh, I might be that one. See if that one's got anything. No, not on a PDF on it. But that's some email. That one, yes, it failed. If I click on that, it'll open up the log and tell me that it failed. So let's have a quick look at that one. Demo one, edit it. Oh, that's probably why I didn't have the details in. That should now work. Let's try transferring mail again. Hopefully now it'll work. Yep, it's working now. It wasn't. In fact, it didn't have TLS 1.3. The version of SSL I'm running, and actually, I think it had a version of it in. But there you go. All the other emails have now come in, but they've all ended up in the same box. Now, you can see they've all ended up there in the same box. Now, supposing I wanted to, I don't know. I couldn't remember an email sent to me. I'm just in this case, I'll just look in incoming mail, but I could look at any of them. I can search by various criteria. Let's see, I'll pick a subject equal, I don't know, index. Let's call it index. I don't know if there's something called index in the mailbox. It should do a search, and it found one message, and there it is, found it. You can do a search to find multiple things, but they're not big a lot of emails. They can go through and find dozens of emails. I've done that sometimes when I haven't been filtering mail into other mailboxes. It gives you thing. The alternative is, and let's see if we can get the now. In Messenger Pro, we have the facility set up main list. By default, this is set up. Thing. I don't really want to send it because I've already actually got it. But it would do. What it would do, it will subscribe you to the Messenger mailing list. Although it said that address, it's actually also on Google. I think it's Workspace, whatever it is, but it still works. You can subscribe. I can turn off that bit. See, put my signature there. I'm not actually going to send it because I've already got subscribed. So what we'll do is, where is it? There it is. I want to set up a mailing list. So you can set up mailing list to be independent of emails. So emails come in and out, a separate box that's specifically for your mailing list. I'm going to create a folder. It's not going to be personal. And it's going to be called, I don't know, well, list. You see in the background, it checking for email, but there won't be any yet. Thing. You can't see that folder yet. I'll show it now. It's now there, but it's not a mailing list folder yet. To change it to a mailing list, I need to go into Messenger Pro Choices, mailing list, add one. I want to call it Messenger. And the folder I select it is the one I've just changed there. And the address will be the address you want to use it for. Blah, 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 blah. I can't remember which one I've used. Hang on a second, I'll find out. Oh dear, it's forgotten me. Remember what pen that is? I didn't make a separate note of that. Oh. Back to the right screen now. Pull that what you want to be. And the address will be the address for the I've got a screen bit on there. We are Messenger. Too many screens on my thing. Right. Right, so it created a group thing there, and you see it's now changed the icon into a mailing list icon. No message in there at the moment, could not send any messages. But messages will still go into the incoming mail until I filter them. So we've got the messenger. That's a filtering rule on. Add one. And only want to be into mail. Set the priority, well, I don't know, 50. So you get the thing, and you can call it messaging, anything you want to actually. Store messages in, you have various options. Store messages in is probably the main one. Drop down menu, there we are, main list, and you can put in from the address. So if you put that in at nuti.nu stone, it'll make sure any email from that address will go into the mailbox, into that mailing list mailbox, and it's keeping it indefinitely. You can keep it, change the period if you want. Set that, and there you are. And here go in the highest check priority first, and then works its way down. So if I got a message coming in for that, it would go there. Can't really test that, unfortunately, but that's what it is there. One thing I will say is, if I click on the messenger and I want to send a message, it automatically puts in who I'm sending it to. And that is picked it up from setting up the mailing list. Oops. There. Look at that. It picked up that information. So you don't have to keep adding it in. It knows if you're sending any message from that mailing list, it's to be sent to that address. The only disadvantage with mailing list is you can't share them across the network, unfortunately, due to the way IMAP works. Now, one thing I didn't show is in the user management. Under myself, I've just got that one email address at the moment. If I put a comma, I can then put for UK. Set that. Oh, I'm doing it. Let me just choices. Check that again. Message editing. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So suppose you want to send a message now, I'll open up the thing. Got there. I can now choose address book, send it to RComp or mailing list messenger if I really want to. But to go to header, at present I've got it set for no one here address. But I've now got a choice. So I can switch it to the other one. And the sender, again, I can have it a different sender. So it's from, but it's actually being sent by another slightly different address. BCC's got CC, subject, all the rest of it. Pointless requesting, very few servers answer it. So yeah, it's got a signature separator in it. So let's see if I can send an email to. I'm not going to send it to. I think I'll just send it to demo at. Okay. Example. Click on send. It now puts it in the outgoing mail queue, and after a set period, it automatically be there up. It'll be picked up and sent automatically. And you see, I've got two messages in there that I've sent. That's a lot of things, but if you want to see the, let's see if we can turn on the. Now we haven't got new house. I don't know if we've got new house working yet, have we? See if we've got new working. Oh, that's interesting. Until September, isn't it? What time September is it? Oh, hang on a second. Oops. Oh, back to the right server. Got all. Lowercase. Leave it down. You can change it whatever you want. I've seen this before. Something new. Taking a long time to connect. So
a possible typo in the name. Eternal.
There's a typo, yeah.
Yeah.
You put EN instead of just E.
Yeah. So configure. Fetch. Right. Oh. Connection review. Might be because I'm also trying to connect with my own other machine. Hang on a minute. I'll disconnect that. I'll disconnect that altogether. Right. Come back to this one. Now where is it? Oh, there it is. Right. Servers. Right. It's got no news groups in there at the moment, so that's probably not what matters. Right, okay, that's interesting. It hasn't put the port on, which I find interesting. I haven't done it this way before. I have had to normally have to put all the details on the one line, the port number and the username and password to get in. So doing it slightly differently to things, but we need some news groups in there. Right, let's see if we can get at them. Any news groups in there? No, right, okay. Add news groups. Is it going to show any? We want comp. Is comp. See if we can find any. It's not going to find. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Port configure.
Chris, you've got in the groups file, you've got internal, internal rather than eternal, which is why it's failed to connect.
The group file.
Close that window.
This one.
No.
This one.
That one.
Yeah.
And the messenger choices.
That
one.
That one. Yeah.
And can you see in the dem group file?
Yeah.
It says internal.
Oh yes. yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Although something does look like it's gone a bit wrong because that's
yeah. Yeah, it's News Eternal. Yeah. I see why. I'm looking at my other copy now. Yeah. That wants to be news. Yeah, take off. What we got? Turn null. And ER. Oops, no. Yeah, that's better. That's more like it.
No.
Now I've got the T on Mr. T. Oh, God. One of those days today. ETERNAL. That's better. That's better. Yeah. See if that'll work. I can always add it on here anyway, so let's see if I do it. Let's do it the other way. Let's see if it'll do it for the group.
It'll need to fetch the group list from the server. So until you've connected to the server, it won't have the list of news groups that are available on the server.
Yeah. Let's just see what works this way first. So I can't see this. If it's going to work. No. Okay. Oh, don't going to insist on it. Okay. Right. All right. Close that down for a minute.
You'll want to quit NewsHound from the icon bar.
Yeah, I think I'm after. Oops. Let's quit that. Oh, wait, that's it. I'll quit that as well. And that. Quit them all. Let's quit it all. Right. In fact, they are messengers now. I'll log in as Chris. Right. Now, see what happens. Is it going to work? New group, there we are. Let's complete thing. Right. See what it's giving me now. Right. New groups. Can it show me anything? Yeah. All right. Put it manually. Oops. Networking. That's a bit better. Yeah, that's more like it. Probably no mail there, so nothing.
Quit it from the icon bar.
Yeah, I'll put the icon bar around. No actual. I didn't think there'll be any messages yet, but it should be. Thing. Newsnet group. I didn't any in yet, so that'll be. Oops, one. Subscribe. So now it's in the list in the main group. So there, if there was any email for that Newsnet posting, it would come in there, and of course you can add more on them. If I go to choices, it should be in the group management now. Yes, there it is. And by default, it's set for 14 days fetch full. And by default for 14 days, you can edit that. You can change it to any number of days you want. Sorry about that. That was a completely new bit to me. I've never seen that bit before. I've had it going a long time on the old way. Now, if I take one of these incoming mail, I don't know, Now I've done that. If I want to go click X, it now puts it in the dustbin. I haven't actually. I just deleted it, which is interesting. I'll undelete it then. I undeleted it. We haven't got another spin. All right. Anyway,
I think it only deletes it when you press the refresh button.
Yeah. Anyway, we wanted to the net effects. We've got the new town appearing. If I look at the configuration on that, don't know where you can do it from here. Tips of town tick that you won't get an icon. You don't want to do the full list, that'll take ages. And you can get to send messages at intervals. The defaults are pretty okay on that. It's now getting Netfetch to Hermes to start up. We need to alter one of the config files now to remember where that is. That one? No, it's not that. Trying to remember where it is now. Apps in there. I changed to this as well. Okay. Oh. No. Anyway. Right. Try that doesn't actually disappear, but yeah. Right. Now you've seen most of the basics. They're on net sale on Netfetch. All settings, you can change it. Transfer news every 15 minutes as well. I'll set that up now. Not going to be any, we get very few Usenet messages anyway nowadays. There is an option. Let me just do an email. We'll do a new email. Project. Or yeah. Now, I was saying a bit earlier, you can do this without saying, do a quick send and receive by clicking on that. I'll do that, it activates it. It effectively doesn't affect, you have a sort of cut down version of it built in, and it just sent that email and it'll come back to me in a minute or two. So you do have that option. Try and get see if I can get Hermes stuff. How do I get it up here? Screen, sorry, looking at the wrong screen there for a minute. See, it's showing the status there. Yeah, one there, you've got a lot of things, new mail, mail and new, open panel choices. Some of these are new ones I haven't seen before. I want to see if I can think, oh, for web browser, by default, it's picking up browser I don't have. So I think I need to change that. Where is it? If I remember rightly, I'm doing it top of my head at the moment. I think it's Irish dollar DIR. That's it. So if I click on web browser, yep, it now will open up Irish. Simply by adding in that text, and there we are. Go there, no, not the thing. So that file transfer opens up FTP. See, got choices. Chat thing up. I haven't used FTPC and yonks. Other programs, of course, you can go through there. Now, I did say there are some utilities you can use. There's ping. You can ping. Okay. Pinging the BBC website. Task window. You can also do a trace route. So it's not going to do very much because it's got multiple addresses trying to connect. By the way, if you wonder what all these stars mean, it means the hop that's going through his mask, so you can't see the details. So I bought that. It's not going to get very far. So read email. Well, that will obviously open up email program. See open.m from Firebox, including the ones I sent. Great, new folder and drop it into that. I can filter them and etc. By the way, you can see these columns here have subject, sender, date. You can actually add on columns. So at present, you can add in all these columns. So I could put in, I don't know, let's see, size. That's probably the most thing. So you can now see the size of the email going in. You can click on it and it'll sort it by sizes. Click it by date. Left click will do it one way, right click will do it the other way. And you can save those settings, by the way. You can save to group choices. I've done it automatically for you. You can change the senders, who it's from, change them back. Change sort by subject if you want. You can do all these subjects and sort by types of email. Where you see these little icons, they show that they've got attachments or whatever on them. That's a locked file that hasn't had any response done to it. That means it's been read. If I go into where is it? Display, edit choices. After incoming email, I've decided I want it to show display unread messages and it doing date and rate order because I've sorted out the orders. I can change it to all messages, read messages, setting something. You have it from so I can sort that, but you don't normally need to do that. I can do this thing and I've got the default one at the moment. Global state. I'm turning that on. If I can manage to connect a virtual RISC PC machine, I can show the other end of a server connection. This machine is now the server, but it's being used as like a standalone, but it can also be connecting to other machines in-house, whether they be Windows, Linux, or Macs, or RISC-OS for that matter. It uses the IMAP protocol to communicate. I only set this up a bit earlier. I have no idea when I can remote control it. It'll be the first time to do it this way. So let's see if I can swap the screens again. Now let's see if I can do the swap of the screens. I'll stop the sharing for a minute and try and share again. Where is it? That one. See if I can do it. Right. Oh, I've got onto the virtual machine. Hopefully you can see the virtual Acorn machine now. Running RISC-OS 6 actually. Now let's have fun with the icons. The mouse pointers. Capture it. Right. Now I have installed on here. I think it's in networking. There it is. I've actually installed it as the client version. So there it is. I've set it up with the Messenger then client version. Username, well, I want to change that to Chris. Chris, I'm calling it now, not demo. Oops. Let's see if it's set up or not. Hopefully it will attempt to connect. Don't know, we haven't got any choices set up yet, so it might not connect. I've never tried it this way before, so it's something new. Well, it put it on the thing, but it's not actually done anything with it. No, it doesn't want to do anything. the moment.
probably didn't do anything because if you didn't set it up, if you use different usernames and passwords and things,
Yeah, everything. I can.
you'll
scrap
need to
it.
do it in remote NB, which you need to
Yeah,
go and yeah, I'll shut up. Sorry.
I'll scrap it and start again. I can delete it.
Just,
And
the configuration
yeah,
is in use dir.
well, that should be all right. Oh, it's still picking up a config file from somewhere. Hang on a minute, see if it will be picking up a config file. John C. Single messenger. Yep, that's why it's picking up that. I'll click that. Get rid of that. Right. I'll try it again now. That's better. Oops. Hopefully. No, still not finding it. Let me just check what the network settings on this thing is.
Chris,
I'm just, yeah, sorry. Just
if you
check.
no. Check load remote NB.
Yeah, yeah. It's still trying to log me a demo for some reason.
Yeah, if you load remote NB, it will come on the icon as an icon with an icon bar icon, and it's much easier to debug it when it's on the icon bar. When the remote NB icon is on the icon bar.
Oh, well, remote NB. All right, okay.
Shift
Okay.
double click on. Once you've set it up once, it's difficult to change its settings.
Yeah.
Chicken and egg. You can't log into something to change the settings that need to be logged in for.
Not in there.
It's inside.
Hang on. In there.
Yeah, that's it.
That one. Yeah.
Nope.
The other one.
Remote NB.
Oh, remote NB. I mean, of course. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah. It's a while since I played it this way.
And press menu over the icon. Yeah, and users.
Yeah. Users. No.
Double click demo.
Yeah. I'll edit that. I'll edit that. Oh, yeah, that's all right. No, Chris.
And then you click. I think it's remote details and server detail.
Yeah.
The buttons in there.
Yeah. Detail. Server. Oh no, yeah. That's all correct.
If you double click on the user and then click remote details.
Remote details. Yeah, sorry. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the user.
Yeah, that should work now. Let's see if that fixes the problem. So I can probably go to Messenger now.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, and see if it behaves now.
And then just click login.
That's better. There we are. Now picked up the inbox. I've never done it on virtual before, but like this way. But that's the same mailbox as on the server machine. So you can see it's actually sharing the data across the network. And I can access the file this way. Exactly the same. Thanks for that tip. I've forgotten about the remote MD.
Yeah, the folders will appear if you go again on remote NB.
Yeah.
Menu, and then site details.
Yeah.
and you've got a private folder path is set to twiddle/mail, which is for Linux.
Yeah.
If you just clear that box, then you'll see the folders appearing as well.
Yeah, it's something I set this bit up before the domain bit, and I've forgotten about it.
It's always fiddly with IMAP anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Something to learn. Just shows it, but it's pointed. It shows it works. And if I go there, you can just see that. At present, I don't think you can see much of the other boxes. No, it's the only one we've got available at the moment. I've shared that thing. Don't think that, you know, what show me? No, show me. Subscribe to that. And networking will work as well. Don't think I've got any folders set up. No. Right.
As I say, if you press menu over remote NB.
Yeah.
And then site. Oh, no, sorry, my mistake. Sorry. Server, I meant.
Server, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Stupid Andrew. And then where it says private folder path, clear that box.
Oh, right. Yes, I've forgotten about that.
That's for Linux machines.
Yeah.
And then save.
I think that should save that. Now, check that.
And
I'm going to have to restart that.
yeah, you might. I mean, that's the correct option anyway, but I don't.
Yeah. Better. Oops. Oh, been too quick for it. Oh dear.
Okay, blame it on me. I told you the wrong things.
Quit that. Let's quit it and start up it again. Better. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Go on.
I think remote NB itself is.
Yeah, taking a long time to find it. Okay, but anyway, basically we know it works across the thing. I'll stop the sharing again. Oh, hang on. I will. I'll enter the halfway again. Yeah. I will stop the sharing. Go back to the machine, other version again. Where is it? One. Two. That's why it failed. Anyway, so yeah, so I'll log back into that. And there we go. Back to there again. We can get that to appear. Choices. Let's see if we get them. Yeah, should be used. I've got that in there. That's all right. Site details. I've got that. That's all there. So we set up. That's all in there. No, there. File. On the setup. The other thing I haven't shown is file message in parallel. When that happens, it does both of them at the same time, or multiple ones. So you can do after one after the other. If you know it's working properly, you can just do that. Right. So, and if I click on that, I can change the user to where if I want to, but you've got nothing there. Go back to Chris, between them. So there's a great deal of flexibility within the system. I'm trying to remember what. I've got too many ROCC screens open at the moment. The background here. Oh no, wait. One of those. Oh dear, mate. Right. excuse me. The screen again. I'm trying to, for some reason I can't get Hermes to stay up. Put that way, and again, you've got various routes to go in here.
Chris,
Yeah.
all the Hermes transfer status windows on the screen, just click
that's
menu
it.
over it.
Yeah, that'll do it. You're right there. See if I can do it. Yeah, choices. That's the bit I want. Thank you. I've forgotten that way of doing it. I can always get day up. Right, let's do that now. That made it appear, but never mind. There we are, better. Hermes itself has its own choices. A lot of them are the same as in FX, but always open the status window, close status window. Always messages first, entirely up to you. I don't have them on, so okay. That one for help with Pluto users, because Pluto users can use NetFetch as well if they want to. And icon bar on, you can change the icons. Simple, basic. We'll have a look at the different settings for that in a minute. One thing I haven't shown, I'll let the transfer finish. There's a feature in NetFetch that if, like I do, first in the morning when the machine turns on, it starts doing a backup, doing several different backups in some cases, but it always backs up the news by default. And what you can do, if you think it's going to take a long time, you can click on that, and that will allow you to temporarily disable the fetching and sending of email until you untick it, and then it goes back to normal. So if you think you've got a large backup going on for some reason, taking longer than normal, you can temporarily disable so email and that doesn't collide and cause issues with it. I have had it occasionally when I've done a lot of changes, usually when I'm doing a Risk OSM update and there's thousands of files with the new mapping coming in, that often collide with the internet program. I have to say I like the way the new news group setting works better than the way I've got it, so I may change mine to the new way. Oops, lost the screen. Where did it go? Oh. Oh. Yeah. What happened here? But hang on a second. Lost too many windows. Getting lost between those windows. Yeah, so that shows it works. As I say, I've had it working. I usually have it connecting to Outlook, Outlook, perpetual license 1 to the. I've had it going from 2003, 2010, 16, 19, and 2024 now. I've had it through Thunderbird, so it does work with all of them. I do have Gmail coming in, but when I set my Gmail up, I had it. I had to get an application password, which I'm not sure you can get anymore now. And because Gmail being a bit funny, I got it to forward all email that went to and through I could still send to Gmail, but getting email from Gmail, Google Mail, I have to send it. It redirected the emails into one of my other mailboxes without issue, and it worked everything properly that way. Part of the problem with Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook.com, Live.com, and Yahoo, it's all trying to push you into using a web browser interface rather than an email client, and also wanting you to OAuth 2 or OAuth, which are token based and are not 100% secure, as they keep trying to tell you, because it's been hacked several times. The tokens are being stolen on a regular basis. So it's not as secure as they like to make out. But yes, as I say, those emails now, let's have a quick look. I think we can have a look at the logs. Yeah, let's have a look at the logs. Email accounts. Demo one. See if I can look at the logs. Well, there we are. What about? It can't set on simple viewing log, and that's a simple version of the log where it just generates. You can see that first error. Connecting to mail, logging the quiz, connected. That's the bare bones. That is a very simple thing. Go to basic level. Change. Transfer some mail. Won't get any actual mail, but and basic, not actually doing a great deal. Let's go to details. And by the way, both these demo email addresses will disappear tomorrow. I've got plenty of other email addresses to worry about. File, new log. Here we are. See if it's going to show me the details. Again, it might not show me because I've not done it. Sorry. No. Oh, there it is. It's actually showing the connection. There we are. And now I'm going to run more details. It's now showing connecting to the server, getting a response. So I'm going to use this standard. That's the login address I'm logging in out. It's response and go through all the checks. Enter password encrypted. Logged in, starts list, quits it. That's it. I'm logging out. Nothing. If there are emails or whatever, it will list how many emails, and it will also tell you, because of filtering, it will also indicate if it filtered any emails away. So if you have a problem, turn on to detail and you get a pretty good idea where something's going wrong. Simple, what you need most of the time. Group management there. Well, we've got some, let's see, did I delete some email? Let's have a quick look. I think I deleted some email. There's some JPEGs come in, so train picture. Just double click on them. I will try and decode them. You can also, by the way, strip attachments. You don't want to save them there. You exported them and you don't want to save them there to reduce the space used up for them. you can mark the message. You can move them to elsewhere. So if I wanted to move that folder, that one, I can move the message. Let's see where we go. Move it to, I don't know, demo talk. There we are. I've now moved it from there. It's marked it. It's now moved it into demo talk, but it's not showing, of course, because I've already read it. So that's fine. It's there now, so it's now available there. Move to that folder. The other thing is I go that thing. Now, yes, there they are. They're now in the bin. To have deleted have now appeared in the base bin. I can empty it out immediately, or after midnight, it would automatically be removed as well. You can actually save out a messages here. You can save a message, do that, and you can save it. Raw messages, the short header, full header, full message, the raw message thing. One of the other things that somebody I know people have asked about is exporting email. Now, if you highlight, say, this one here, I can edit the group name, open it, repair it, export it, expire it, delete it even. The other thing under utilities, you can import from Hughes base, or you can actually, there is an export facility. Well, where's it gone to? Oh, there it is. You can export it. You can export the group. If you in that format, thing, it's a fairly standard format that can use cross-platform. Not necessarily Microsoft, unfortunately. Microsoft can be a bit fussy. The new one, if it follows the standard thing, we can usually get a chance to do it. If I did that, it's copied it out. Let's see if I've got around this time. I have copied it into there. It's now copied it. If I open this up, and there it is. That's the contents. That's the code number, and so on. All these mail that's come in. And then each message starts with that. You identify it. So you can export things, and you can actually drag in a folder that you've exported previously, like this one. Just to see if I can do it. I drag that on, and that way around. Yes, it's now dropped the messages in there, and I can go navigate through them one at a time. There we are. Dropped in, and I'm looking at all the messages I've just dropped on it. So you can back them up if you want to individually, if you want to, or keep a set of messages. And you can add import and export. A lot of people don't realise that you can do that. So there's lots of things you can do, and it's not doing that one. Why is it not doing that? Choice is not keeping the. What is icon? It's not doing that. The icon disappeared. Oh, I know why. That's better. Shouldn't keep hammering the servers, but I am. That icon should stay now. Yeah, that's right, it's staying. You can turn that off. Where is it? Yeah, that one. That thing. So you have all those options. If you really want to have it, you can have it turned on. Thing. So you've got a lot of control, a lot of power in there. Pluto and anti-spam have one way. This is another way of doing it. there's a lot of flexibility in there, and I've used it for years and years and years. As I say, one or two new things have been added in, new to get Andrew, relating to the news group stuff, because the world of news groups has changed quite a lot. As I say, a lot of ISPs don't support it anymore. Internal September is still around. The individual .de, the one in Germany, I think that's closing next year. I think Giga News is the one Orpheus use. There's only a few respectable ones still floating around. Although there are 42,000 news groups out there, a lot of them are used for not very nice purposes, I think the polite term for it is. But anyway, there's not many people posting on the Acorn news groups, unfortunately, so it's very low traffic. But hopefully that gives you all some ideas of some of the things. If anybody's got any, just see if I'll stop sharing for a minute. There's lots and lots of comments there. I'll see if I can catch up on some of them. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, I set up Messenger first rather than think. I thought that was a more logical way to do it, but that's actually a good idea, by the way. I appreciate your suggestion for Vince about a schedule period when fetching doesn't happen. So that'll be thing, because sometimes I forget to turn off the temporary disable. Sometimes I've gone several hours and said, I haven't had any email. Oh, I haven't turned it back on again. So I know it does happen. View mail on server. I thought we did have net, but I thought it did have that. Let's go to the. Let's share again. I could have sworn there was a get the right screen. That one. It might be there's no mail on the server, but I thought there was. Mail account transfer mail. Oh, no, there isn't. Oh, it's only available for. And there's an option on the NetFetch itself to view mail on server. But what is, nothing there to show, probably, so it's not going to show me anything. But yeah, there is an option there, but not under Hermes itself. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. So it's a feature that's missing out of NetFetch, but it actually appears to be in missing out of Hermes, but it's in NetFetch. Yes, you can. Password protecting the thing. Yeah, that's a fair thing. Yeah, I partly agree with a password protecting the passwords. I noticed it was when I filled in the details for the news hound, it didn't put stars in for the password when I was typing it in. It actually put the little password in. That needs to be more secure, I think, but that's just something for Andrew to think about.
Well, that one is down to the average age of the average RISCOS user, I'm afraid. I'll leave you to figure out what I mean by that, but think of the person doing the tech support and you'll understand what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, Andrew.
I should hasten to add that the people on this stream are not the people I'm talking about.
Yeah. I haven't done much with direct mail thing, but I know it's a feature for some people, but I've never had a need for it.
I'm actually working on something that will utilize that at the moment, so
right.
you may be using it more in the future.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, so if anybody's got any other general question, I'll try and see if I can answer. I'll stop sharing again. So can you see all your handsome faces? Let's make sure. Sorry about the glitches.
I just thought, Andrew, there's one way around the forgetful password issue is to have an RComp master password that if somebody rings up, you can ask them to type in. Almost like a super admin one.
Yeah, the problem is that quite a few users think they've typed one thing when they've typed something completely different.
Yes.
Repeatedly.
So a master password like that is also called a backdoor.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the problem is that they type their password in half a dozen times and get it wrong every single time. And being able to see it means they can see they've made a mistake. If you have stars, they can't see they've made a mistake.
Sadly, it's very true because I helped. I remember up in Sunderland, even his internet provider, PlusNet, we're getting confused. He said he put in the right password in, but it wasn't. It went round in circles and ended up creating another account for him. And he only knew then he could only access it through a web browser or something. Couldn't remember the password.
Yeah.
The other problem was I think passwords are case sensitive in most cases, and some people you just got to make a simple mistake, a capital or letter instead of lowercase, or an O against a 0, and that's a classic one.
I guess a reveal password icon, but that's further levels of complexity, isn't it, as well?
Well, it is. And if you notice, the way I decided to do it for the news stuff was that it shows you when you first type it in, but then if you go back in future, it hides it so people can't find out what your password is once you've set it up. The logic being that you would probably, you would set it up once, and it would probably be you setting it up, so it doesn't matter if you see what you've typed. And then once it's done, if somebody tried to hack your machine, then they would see the stars rather than the text.
Yeah,
I know it's not a perfect solution, but that was the logic.
Yeah, but the other thing was that I mentioned was obviously if you go into Hermes and untick the encrypt passwords for your email, because that's not password protected. If somebody's got access to your machine, then obviously they can see your email passwords. But you've also got the ability to put lock screen on the machine.
Yeah.
So I guess that mitigates it to some extent as well.
Well, plus you'd have to know to load Hermes manually, get into the choices, alter that feature, then figure out where Hermes stored its data, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it would require a certain level of.
Knowledge.
I know it's not beyond the realms of possibility, but it is. Oh, note to person recording. Maybe delete that little section.
No. Okay, so anybody got any general questions they want to ask? Or...
Send me an email to remind me about that little edit.
Sorry, Ruth.
Well, it's certainly gone on a bit longer than I intended, but hopefully people have learned one or two things and one or two tricks and bits and pieces. It is very flexible, sometimes I think too flexible, but you can, as I say, you can run NetFetch Hermes with Pluto if you want, or Messenger Pro. It's always worth keeping up to date with the latest versions anyway, as Andrew things are changing and being enhanced. And you're best using SSL for pretty much all ISPs are now moving over to hosting providers using SSL of one form or another. And moving to TLS 1.3 as well, 1.2 being the minimum standard they use nowadays, most of them. Making your email more secure. Stop trying to stop the man in the middle, or person in the middle, shall we say now. And it is legally possible to bypass the local server, because otherwise it would go to your ISP server and try and relay it on. Plus, they have had a lot of problems with the relay. They get being put on spam list because they use a relay address for their mailbox. I've now bypassed it altogether, go direct to my domains. Anyway, if we're going into further questions, if not, well, thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Kindly.
Yeah, and I'm sure the video will be available in due course.
About June.
Thanks, Chris.
The edited email, Chris. The edited.
Hopefully, I'll see you all in 2 weeks' time at the show. 2.5 weeks' time.
Don't put it like that, Chris. I've still got programs to write.
What's the status regarding Charles? I hear by the grapevine that he's not been too well.
It's a watching brief, I think, is the answer.
Okay.
Sorry, not be more specific, but it's really going to be a case of seeing how things are on the day. But don't be surprised if you end up having to take the lead. Sorry.
Okay. Right. I'll leave everybody to it then, and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. And I'll see Martin, I'll see Chris, Andrew, probably see Doug. I see a lot, most of you are going to be there, so. Think so.
That's the premier event of the year, Chris.
Yeah. And I'll be coming across on the train, taking it leisurely this year.
Not the only one.
I'll take a long weekend.
I have a long way to travel on the train.
Where are you coming up from, Martin?
Norfolk.
Norfolk. Oh, right, you're coming from Norfolk. Oh, right, coming all that way, right. Yeah. Well, I'm catching a train across and spending the weekend with my relatives over there, so.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, okay.
I hope everyone has a really good time.
Yeah, Andrew, you need to update the exhibit list.
I need to update the exhibitor list.
Oh, is it you? Okay.
Yeah.
I looked earlier on today. The exhibitors look fairly okay.
Yeah, all I've got is about half a dozen listed for this year, and the rest are listed as last year's exhibitors.
Yeah.
So I need to update it. I was going to do it after this meeting, but it's gone on a bit, and also I've discovered I don't have to log in on this computer, so.
I see. Yeah, we haven't got Martin yet down on the.
I'm on there.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm being blind then.
He's down under RISC-OS Technologies. I think you've got it as. I think.
Oh yeah, I was listed literally the day after you sent me the email, Andrew.
Okay.
Yes, when you relayed that information to me, Andrew, I added Martin and then you, Richard,
Okay,
Tony,
yeah.
and me. I think, yeah.
Right.
And I haven't
I'm
updated it
probably
since. So
being blind or stupid. So
Yeah. But while we've got Doug on this call, Doug, are you confirming for Mug?
I thought John had spoken to Richard about it, confirming that Mug would be up there.
so that's
So you,
I think
so
that's
that yes.
Yes, that's a yes.
Yeah. Right, there you go. There you go, Andrew. We've got one more confirmation.
Yeah, I think John was just going to go back and double check that it was the same price as last year. So
yeah, it's the same price. It's basically everybody gets the same price because the hotel gave us the same price. So you know, an organizer have also confirmed, Vince.
Oh right, okay.
They were, I think today. The only one I haven't heard back from now, I think, is Archive.
I think the list you gave me the other day was.
David.
Hang on a sec. Were we two? I haven't got an email set up on this computer either.
I was going to say Gavin was on here earlier.
Oh, I missed.
No,
Gavin.
that wasn't Gavin from Archive. That was
Knitting Gavin.
Knitting Gavin, yeah.
Yeah.
Do they share the same surname then? Do they?
No.
I'm sure he was on the call.
No, it's no Gavin Archive was. I've forgotten his last name now. He wasn't. He was not on this.
Yeah, he was on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you actually did say organizer and confirmed, Andrew, in the email that you sent me the other day.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm still not firing on all cylinders after this flu bout.
Yeah, I'm not going to be firing on all cylinders for a couple of weeks with all the work I've got to do. Yeah. So the list, what you said it left was Archive, Mug, and Northwest Computer Museum, and obviously Doug's just confirmed for Mug, so that's just Archive and Northwest Computer Museum then.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll update that tomorrow when I've got the other computer switched on.
Right.
I know that Archive said he was planning to come this year, but
right,
he's also got a tricky journey across the from Northern Ireland. So
yeah.
Andrew, I've sent you another email today afternoon regarding the entrances.
Right. Okay.
I think so. You should have that list. I think it's you and to Richard as well, but
perfect.
It would come this after. It went to the Scott Dev address.
Yeah.
So we should have got that.
Great stuff.
So yeah, and don't forget to send us our bill eventually.
Yeah, I'll be doing the bills probably in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure we've got everybody nailed down before I start sending bills out. Otherwise, it becomes very confusing as to who's paid and who hasn't.
I'm looking forward to go visiting Martin's stand anyway. Find out about Frosty.
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of interest. I've had loads of messages on X from even people that don't even follow Riscos, which is really bizarre.
Wow.
So any publicity is good publicity, right?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
They're waiting for you to port it.
Port it to what?
I don't know. I'm just randomly saying things.
Yeah. Well, I only actually finally finished the full icon set yesterday. It's been 11 months of torture. I don't think I'd ever want to go down this road again. I'm not sure I knew what I was letting myself in for when I thought, designing a whole new icon suite for Riscos was a good idea.
Oh, well.
Well, it's much appreciated.
Right.
It's been fun though. It's been fun.